This is a quick win episode of the Learn-it-doit podcast. One topic, to the point, real value designed for you to put into action right away. Let's go. Hey guys, welcome back to this week's quick win episode of the Learn-it-doit podcast. I'm Pete, joined as always by my lovely wife and co-host Ree. And today we're going to be blasphemous and tell you that you should never finish your to-do list.
Oh man, I cringe just thinking about you saying that. But if you've listened to some of our other podcasts or read our blogs, you know that we are definitely big fans of lists, right? And organizing. So today's topic kind of feels a little counterintuitive.
Yeah.
But at first glance, it might feel that way, but we just kind of want you guys to hear us out, right? The idea of never finishing your to-do list is really thinking about the things that cause us stress related to our to-do list, right?
Yep.
So, it's very stressful to feel like you have way too much on your list that you're never going to accomplish. It's also very stressful to think about not really knowing what needs to happen next, right? So not having anything there to do.
Right. You don't want to be stuck in no man's land.
Exactly. And then it's really stressful to think that you can always try and get ahead, right? So to kind of combat these stresses, we wanted to talk today about why you should never finish your to-do list. That's not the goal, right? The goal is not to check everything off the list. The goal is to kind of eliminate these stress, find ways to be more efficient so that you can get things done and work towards your goals.
Right. And learn how to create lists.
Yeah.
Because the only way your business moves forward is by accomplishing tasks. And in order to do that, you have to set yourself up for success by creating lists that are attainable and that you can actually accomplish.
Right. That makes sense. So let's think about this. What are ways, right, Pete, that we can kind of organize a to-do list so that we can be better at accomplishing things?
Well, first you have to think about, the types of things you have to do. So look at your week and what are some tasks that you have to do and accomplish on a weekly basis, like the basic housekeeping of your business. Put those in a list because those are going to happen no matter what, and try to figure those out, right?
Yeah.
And then you're going to have, each week is going to be different in this category, but your client work or your customer work or whatever you have to do, that's going to fluctuate as time goes by. You have a lot of busy season or not. And then you have to look at, what are you doing internally in your business and what needs to be done?
Yeah, like business development,
Business
right?
development wise, like working on your business.
So, these are different categories of tasks that you have to, balance as a business owner. And what we like to do, we have a project management software we use, Rike, and we like to create a backlog of tasks, right? So in these categories, obviously the weekly things and the client things, those are obvious. Those are things that are going to be put on our list, like, next step of the project for our client, reaching out to our client, all that kind of management stuff has to happen. Like you said, the housekeeping stuff for your business, maybe that's sending invoices and, sending checks and all that stuff. But the things that you need to really organize are all of that extra stuff that you wish that you did,
Yes, exactly.
Where you can put those so that when you have time, you can kind of add those to the list. So we create a backlog.
Right. And that's the best way to be organized, because what happens to a lot of us is that we get overwhelmed. So we write down, I have to do all these things. And you just make one long list and you start your Monday out with this long list.
Yes.
And that one long list doesn't get accomplished because it's very unattainable. You just can't do it. And then that bleeds into Tuesday. Well, then, client things come up, personal things come up. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you're stressed out about this unattainable list you made. And that gets you nowhere.
Absolutely.
Now, we're not saying that you shouldn't finish your daily to-do list. We're trying to help you create a list that you can finish, but we're also trying to teach you how to create a list day in and day out that is attainable so that you are moving forward in your business.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Like I'm not saying don't get things done, right? The idea is, each day we want to make an efficient list that has the right amount of things on it so that we can actually accomplish it, because we know that at the end of the workday, when, you've completed everything that you wanted to complete that day, it feels amazing and you feel really good about that. But if you don't have, something lined up to do the next day, or, that backlog of tasks of things that you wish you were doing when you had time, then you're never going to really be moving your business forward. You're kind of just spinning your wheels in place, just getting done what needs to get done,
Now,
and kind of putting out fires.
Let's talk about some list etiquette here. When you have a task to complete, it's so simple just to write the title of that task and say, I have to do that. But what happens is 90% of the time, that task is way too big to be one task.
Yes.
That's like in a whole event, basically. So what we always say to do when we do this in our podcast episodes, and we do this in our course, is we have we break things down into the next 3 steps.
Yes.
And these are 3 like physical steps. Like if you're going to take 3 steps on your feet, you move from here to there. It's not running a mile. We're not trying to go, finish the marathon.
You want to break them down really to the minutia of
exactly.
It. So, a great example of this is I used to put on my to-do list, do the finances, right? Okay.
Yeah, what does that even mean?
What does that even mean? That's just like a giant concept. But anyways, I'd write, do the finances. And every week I would look at it and it would be like the last thing I did. I didn't want to do it. But really the problem was that was an unattainable task, right? What I needed to do was break it down to the next 3 steps. So the next 3 steps of doing my finances is, okay, we're going to send out the invoices to our clients. We're going to write the checks to our subcontractors for the work they did that week. And I'm going to input all of the expenses for the week for our business into our bookkeeping software. Those are 3 steps that I can actually check off, right? But do the finances. Well, I'm always going to be stressed out about that.
Exactly. Well, and I was going to bring up the point is that you put that on your list, but if you only did one of those 3 things you just said, now you still can't check that off your list.
Right.
And that's still a stress, but you're not sure where you are in the task. Mm-hmm. You're not sure how long it's going to take you. It's hard to gauge like, oh, if I have 20 minutes, is that going to be enough? But if you have invoice your clients, well, that's going to take 5 minutes.
Yeah.
If you have pay your subcontractors, well, that's another 5 minutes. And then you have put your expenses in, well, that's going to be 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. But if you just said, do the finances and you paid your subcontractors, well, now you're still kind of like, well, what do I have to get back into it? You don't know exactly what to do when you sit down.
Right.
But if you were able to break things out and say, okay, these are the things I need to do, that's a great way to make your to-do list. And we've talked about to-do lists and time management as well, is to not overbook yourself because you're just going to get stressed out. But the point of this topic here is, how do we create a productive to-do list for tomorrow?
Yes.
Because our business needs to take a step forward every day.
Right.
And so how do we take the step forward tomorrow? Especially, I'll give you a situation, especially say you had a busy season, you're coming off the busy season, it's slowing down, but you're used to firing all cylinders. How do you stay productive then? How do you make a to-do list when there's no, there's no client work right in your lap?
Right.
Obviously, you want to go out and do marketing, but what do you do here?
Right.
Do you work on your business? Do you take personal time? How do you manage this? And I think what you were talking about, you kind of turn to that backlog.
Yeah, exactly. That's what the backlog's for, and I think rather than stressing out about what we do or saying like, oh, well, now's the time to, do that work on my business, which again is one of those giant tasks. Well, if you have a backlog of these minute tasks, these next 3 steps in all the areas that you want to move forward in, well, now you have real tangible things that you can pull into your to-do list and actually get them done.
And if you don't already have a backlog, it's okay. Look to the goals you made at the beginning of the year or every quarter, whenever you check your goals, and create the backlog from that. If you have a goal that you want to grow by X amount of dollars or X amount of clients, or if you have a goal that you want to hit, you need to break that goal down into tasks, and you put those tasks into your backlog. And especially if you're trying to hit them in like a quarterly fashion or half a year, you need to make sure that those are actually put into your daily to-do list so that you can actually hit those goals. Because it's easy to say, I want to hit these goals, and then you actually get a bunch of work and you're like, whatever, because I'm busy. And then all of a sudden you're not busy, and then you're like, oh no, I need work, or I need to do X, Y, and Z. And then you're like, you feel like you're stuck. If you have this backlog of tasks of things that you want to do, things you want to work on, goals you want to hit, that's where you can pull from, as long as you make sure that you are doing the next 3 steps and not being this vague giant, I need to do my marketing plan. That's not a thing. Yes, a marketing plan is a document, but it's a very long document that takes a lot of time and effort. So we need to break that down into specific tasks that you can actually accomplish on a day-to-day basis.
Absolutely. And I think, all of the things that we try and do here are just about alleviating, the stresses that come as being a business owner. And I think what, kind of made us come up with this title or think about this is, for a long time, I used to get really overwhelmed by my to-do list because I was totally a victim of creating these massive lists that were just completely unattainable. And I'd constantly tell myself, well, if I just finish this list, then I'll be done. Then that was the goal. And for me, I always felt like my goal was to check everything off this list. And then it hit me one day that if I actually checked everything off this list and had nothing else to do, well, then I wouldn't be in a business anymore.
Right. There'd be nothing to do.
There would be nothing to do. It means I have no clients. It means I'm not working towards any goals. It means I'm not doing this. So it all of a sudden kind of alleviated that stress for me to realize that the goal is not to finish the to-do list, right? The goal is to get things done.
Yeah.
The goal is to work towards my goals, to move the business forward.
Right.
But the goal is not to finish the to-do list and do nothing.
Exactly. Because your to-do list is if you take a step out of your day, like finish your daily to-do list.
Right.
We're not saying don't do that, but when you step out of it as your business, you always need to accomplish something.
Right.
And that's what we're looking at.
There's always something to do.
Right. We're taking a step out and we're looking down at our business and saying, if I had nothing to do, there wouldn't be a business.
Right.
And so we're just trying to explain to you how you can organize yourself to put yourself in the best situation, because the fewer decisions we have to make, the better off we're going to be. If we can just immediately take action, if we can see a task, take action, well, that's going to alleviate stress, and it's going to make you way more efficient. But if you have to look at a task and think about it and wonder, and am I doing the right thing? Or how do I do this? Or you drag your feet, well, that's going to cause you stress, and that's going to take time, and that's going to just cause you energy. And eventually you're just not going to do it.
Right, right. So I think, the moral of this whole story is, take a look at your to-do list that you're working on. Know that there are ways to alleviate stress by organizing them in different ways. Create that backlog of things for all the goals that you're trying to work towards, so you always have something to pull from. Break things down into those next 3 steps, and just know that the goal is not to complete everything on your list all at once. The goal is just to take a step forward every single day.
And make sure you take a deep breath and just know that you got this, all right? Hey guys, thanks for joining us. This video will be on YouTube, so you can watch us talk and see our smiling faces, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks a lot. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and be sure to check out more of our videos and catch us on our podcast. Let's do it.